Financial independence is a wonderful goal, but can I really do it in my own life? I came up with so many excuses when I first heard about the idea of financial independence, retire early. And since I've started learning more about the financial independence movement, I've heard a dozen more creative excuses. I mean, more creative than I could have even come up with on my own. While my first thought about financial independence was that it just wasn't possible for me because I don't make enough money, I also firmly believe that whether you think you can or you can't, you're usually right. That's a quote from Henry Ford, just to attribute that correctly. Here are some of the most creative excuses I've come across about financial independence, and some excuses I even used to believe myself. I've also included my current thoughts and responses to them, just for reference. I really try to come at this topic of excuses with a lot of empathy because everyone has different means and motivation and different capacity in their own lives. And what might be possible for one person just isn't possible for you for other reasons. That said, whether you can or you can't is all up to you, and it is absolutely up to you to do the absolute best you can with what you have. Overall, just don't get discouraged and continue to do the best you can. Here are some of the best excuses about financial independence that I've heard and also formerly used to believe. Excuse number 1, I'm too old. I'm too old to start thinking about financial independence. I've missed those magic years between like 21 and 29, and it's just too late for me to even think about retiring early. I'm too old. I started too late. I'm 31. I'm 39, 42, 48, 56. I'm 60. I'm 68. What should I do? This was actually one of the biggest excuses that I used to believe. I thought I was too old to start thinking about financial independence, retire early. So yes, while compound interest is a huge tool in the financial independence retire early movement, it is never too late to start taking advantage of compound interest. This is something that I tell myself every single day, and rather than get discouraged about all those years that I wasn't saving aggressively, I simply try to make adjustments to my lifestyle now. It's never too late to start thinking about financial independence. Excuse number 2, I don't make enough money to think about financial independence. I don't make enough money. I barely make enough money to cover my daily living expenses, let alone even thinking about financial independence. Where am I going to get extra money to save for the future if I can't feed myself today? Housing costs are super high, and just paying my monthly bills is unreal. How can I even hope to have enough to cover my future needs or to even think about retiring early? I don't make enough money. It's a challenge to achieve financial independence on a low income, for sure. The most important thing is to cover your daily living, monthly living expenses and to not go into debt. That's thing number 1. The second thing is to realize that while your income may be low, your expenses are also probably relatively low, unless you're living beyond your means, which is a whole other issue. So while your income is low, the number needed to sustain your expenses on that income is also relatively low. So your target financial independence number is also going to be relatively low. I have a whole video on this because I did the numbers myself. It was encouraging to realize that financial independence on a lower income is actually more achievable than you might think. Excuse number 3, I live with or have to take care of my aging parents. I have to take care of my parents. I live with my aging mother, and I don't know what the expense of her care is going to be from one day to the next. So I really don't think that I can achieve financial independence for myself because I'm not sure what my mother's care will be. My mother's care is my primary focus. This is actually one of my financial principles. I consider it very important to me personally to prioritize spending time with family and friends who are like family. Caring for family is something that I feel very fortunate to be able to do, and yet set aside a portion for early retirement. This all goes back to doing the best you can with what you have. Sometimes you just gotta do the best you can with what you have, where you are right now. That's a Dwight Eisenhower quote. Excuse number 4, I live on my own. I don't think I can achieve financial independence because I live on my own. I have to take care of myself. I don't have anyone else to rely on. There's no one else helping me out here. I'm entirely on my own. I don't think I can achieve financial independence because I rely on myself. I don't have anyone else taking care of me. It's always nice to feel supported. That said, many of the hallmarks of the financial independence movement are built on extreme self-reliance and really cutting your expenses down to the absolute minimum. When you live alone, there are several advantages that I think people in other situations would say that you have. So granted, you don't have someone else to kind of rely on, such as a spouse. However, when you live alone, you also have no one else to answer to, and you can do pretty much whatever you want without having to check in with someone else. There are several advantages to living on your own. You can be as frugal as you want and not have to answer to anyone. You can make very, very frugal choices with your transportation, your food, and your living expenses that you don't have to justify to anyone else. So as far as living on your own, I would say that there are several advantages to this. The key to financial independence and moving forward with financial independence is finding the unique advantage in your situation and then using that advantage to your benefit. So rather than thinking about all the things that other people have that you don't, it can be kind of a game to think about all the things that you do have that other people don't. Specifically in the situation of living on your own, you don't have the responsibilities of a spouse, you don't have the responsibilities of children or dependents. So try to explore the unique advantages that you have rather than thinking about things that you don't have. Excuse number 5, you live with an unsupportive partner. I don't think I can achieve financial independence because my spouse is not on board. My spouse is not supportive. It's really hard because I feel like I'm fighting them on every little decision and they're just not on the same page as I am. It's really tough to decide what to do with our money. I don't think I can achieve financial independence because my spouse is not on the same page. So this is a tough one. In fact, the number one cause of divorce in America is money problems and money disagreements. This is also one in which you can play a little bit of defense. If at all possible, before you get married, make sure that you are on the same page as your spouse when it comes to finances. Easier said than done, I know. And if you're already married to someone who is not in agreement with you on finances, it can be very difficult to make decisions about money in a relationship when you don't share the same priorities and values. This is really tough. I've known several couples who have split up over money fights and money problems. So in this situation, it's really important to remember the strength of your relationship. Focus on the things that you appreciate about your partner and the relationship in general. While money may be the outward cause of a disagreement, it's usually a symptom of a deeper problem. Usually it's something like not feeling appreciated in the relationship, not feeling like your ideas matter or your contributions matter, or deeper issues along those lines. But money is huge, and money is usually a symptom of the bigger problem. I would call this more of a reason than an excuse, and try to get some outside help wherever possible, either from a professional or a trusted friend or advisor. It's tough. This one's tough. And finally, excuse number 6 of why I can't achieve financial independence is because I have kids. I have kids. I don't think I can achieve financial independence because I have kids. They are so expensive. They are always asking for money for stuff. They're so expensive. Cost so much to feed them. Their clothes are expensive. They're so expensive. They're always asking for money. Then there's college. And then there's college to think about. Kids are so expensive. It's tough for me to work towards my own financial independence because I have kids. I have kids. Oh, kids. Those adorable little money-sucking leeches. Just kidding. I am just kidding. Just kidding. Kids are great, but they do change your financial priorities significantly. So this is another case of just do the best you can with what you have. And yes, kids are an extra expense. The government agrees with you. Do the best you can with what you have. And love them. Love your kids. Love them. Kids are adorable. Kids are great. So those are some of the best excuses I've heard about financial independence and my current responses to them and my thoughts along why it actually could be possible. Once more, everyone has different capacities and a different income shovel to work with. But if you are really determined and dedicated and use focus and good strategy, financial independence can be possible for you. I hope this has been helpful, and I thank you so much for watching. As always, I hope you'll keep watching. Bye.